Check. Hello.
I was just checking levels.
Checking levels.
Checking levels.
Checking levels, casting devils out.
Oh, okay. So, thank you.
I woke up 4 seconds ago.
Sounds
4
like
seconds
it.
ago?
Yeah.
It took you 4. Did you teleport here? 4 seconds?
Yeah.
I feel like
What?
TJ needs a blankie right now.
No, I'm so hot right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just because like all the like blood that's rushing as you're trying to get ready.
I'm always like stupid hot, and I have a fan next to my. Actually, can you turn that off? Thank you, because I realized after last podcast, after a little bit of compression, you can hear that.
Ah.
So
Yeah.
Kelly's is nice and quiet. Ooh, I can feel. I can feel.
He said, that's
I
nice.
actually feel that.
Don't
Wow.
you? Yeah, it's crazy.
That's incredible.
Put it on full Power Ranger
I just
mode.
said it's incredible.
Power Ranger mode.
It's a bit loud, but look at that.
Yeah,
Dude, I can feel
that's
that over
incredible.
here. Yeah, wow.
Incredible. I can get one of those.
It's our biggest fan.
I see what you did. Speaking of fans, we've got 33 subscribers now.
Dang, what was it before?
It was holding tight at 29 for the longest time. Now
Dude, we
got
had a
33.
lot of people talking about Bob Ross yesterday. I'll tell you that
That's
much.
a good thing.
We had 5
Yeah.
of them.
Which is
There was
crazy
5
because-
people talking about Bob Ross.
Because we posted it yesterday.
Yeah.
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 So I tried to post it on Thursday, and then when I got here on Monday, was it Monday or that
Like the other day.
Yeah, I guess I didn't look at it until like Tuesday or Wednesday, and it said video processing abandoned.
What?
Because like I guess I did it right before I left, and then I guess my computer timed out or locked or whatever, and
It's
then
that evil spirit that jumped all over Chris's mic.
yeah, dude, could we have enough problems on one podcast?
Because they knew how good that pod was,
Exactly.
and they didn't want it to be released into the world.
Well, it's out now. If you haven't commented which one's your favorite, go do it.
I love that my
You
mom
have to
commented.
go to the end. You have to go to the end to see the final product.
Yes,
If you
you
don't
do.
do it, I'm showing up at your house.
Yes, that one is.
That's right. Showing
You
up
got to
to your
watch that
house.
one, bro. That one's.
That was.
It's just so funny to look at. Like, you just look at the screen, and there's 3 dudes wearing afros.
The thumbnail is probably
Dude,
the best thumbnail.
Oh, the thumbnail's awesome.
Your picture looks like we took like half of you and just flipped it. Like you look scary.
I'm just like,
the edit for the Insta post was phenomenal. Lisa
Lisa
did
It was.
such an amazing job on that. Like Chris is like, oh wait, oh, I got this. Oh wait, no, I don't.
oh, goodness gracious.
So funny.
Where did he switch for the knife?
He went back to the knife again.
Oh, the poor knife.
Yeah, that was great, man.
That was fun.
Speaking of, where are those beautiful portraits?
2, I believe, are over
Oh,
Oh, we got on the wall?
there. I got on the wall.
Oh,
Thank you very
TJ got
much.
on the wall. Let's go, dude.
I
told you.
There's
There's
ours.
told you.
There's ours.
Art's subjective.
Oh, thank you, Lisa.
Nice
Thank you.
and blurry.
What was I was gonna say something. Oh well. Anyway. So
Anyway.
this pod, right? We're gonna do a special missions edition.
Missions edition.
Missions edition because Chris and I spent a week with 9 students in Mexico.
And 3 other
The
leaders.
arid, dusty, hot, not humid,
Windy.
windy, yeah, Mexico, which was super cool. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit about that this pod.
Yep.
But here's what I want to know. I mean, come on, we spent a week in Mexico. TJ, what did you do for spring break, sir?
Nothing. Worked, designed some stuff.
Yeah.
I made some pretty cool stuff for the TV wall out front, and I'm getting a phone call.
Getting a phone call. It's probably
I
somebody
answer it?
super important. You should.
It might be a doctor, actually.
What if it was
You
Gus?
should answer and put it
Hello?
on speaker.
Hello, this is a courtesy call to Tristan. This is the office of Dr. James Scott.
Oh, it actually
We
is.
are calling you to remind you of your appointment.
That just reminded me of my appointment.
I don't know if everybody caught this who's listening, but she called Tristan,
Oh yeah, that's my real name.
not TJ.
That's my government name.
It's your government name.
Yeah.
Tristan.
Tristan Jr.
Tristan Jr.
Tristan's my dad.
Okay, so you're a junior?
Yeah.
I did not know that. So what's the
Only
J
not
stand
junior
for?
on this.
What does the J stand for?
Junior.
So it's like Tristan
My
Jr.
middle name is Sean.
Sean.
Yeah.
Okay, I assumed that like TJ was from like your first and middle name.
Nope,
Yeah.
Tristan Jr.
Tristan Jr. I'm a junior.
Yep. CJ.
I am a junior. Did your mom growing up say like little Tristan or big Tristan?
No,
Because
I think TJ was instead of that.
okay, so dad's Tristan, TJ is
Yeah.
you. Okay, makes sense. It would make perfect sense. But I grew up, unfortunately, as little Randy, and my father was Big Randy.
So your dad was also Charles Randall.
Charles Randall
and
Ellis
also went by Randy.
Senior.
That's crazy.
Went
I
by
would have
Randy.
assumed that your dad went by Charles.
No.
And you went by Randy.
You would assume.
Yeah.
And you would be normal. But no, I grew up as Randy, little Randy. Dad was Big Randy. And then I passed him in size in middle school. And I'm still little Randy.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that in Mexico.
I'm not sure exactly why I became little Randy. I would have preferred something different.
You probably did something to deserve it.
What, belittle?
Dang it, little Randy.
It was so funny because seriously,
Little Randy?
like I don't know. I would love to introduce my mom to you guys just so you could hear her voice. She's so sweet, but like her voice, she still has the accent from Southern West Virginia.
I would have a ball with that. That'd be so funny.
And so, like when I was growing up, like again, you're playing out in the neighborhood like kids don't do nowadays. Growing up in a neighborhood, the only way that you could get your kid back for like lunch or dinner or whatever like that is you go out the front porch and you yell for them, right? And so my whole life is like, Little Randy! And like my friends would be like, your mom's calling. I'm like, crap.
My dad had his patented whistle.
Oh, yeah.
He would do the thing with the fingers, and it doesn't matter if we're in the middle of Kmart. He just whoop, like this huge whistle, and that was how we knew. Like, all right,
Dude.
time to go.
That's legit.
And I saw I had some sort of like weird extended, like it was my stepmom's great uncle. I don't know, some weird family. They're from Australia, and they came back, and they had like this bird call. They're like we were all in the forest, and they just let the kids wander off, and then which is weird. But then apparently there's this magical bird call they do, and it was like caw. and then they came running back.
Oh, I can only imagine the other applications for that, right? Like you're in the middle of the city, like, and all these kids come flocking over to you. That would be.
There's like 3 of them.
That's great, man. My grandfather could do that. Like he would stick, do the whole pinkies in the mouth thing and like whistle real loud. And I always wanted to learn. And so it was one time when I was grounded for like 9 weeks. I taught myself how to juggle. And I
Whoa.
taught myself how to whistle,
9 weeks.
bro.
Would you steal a car? What'd you do?
No, the whole thing was like my grades, if there were, I was failing a few classes or whatever
Ugh.
like that. And the goal was like, you're grounded until you bring that grade up. So unfortunately, it took a while.
Yoinks.
And so, but yeah, so I mean, literally could come to like my room. I could have no entertainment, no video games, no TV. I just had to either like study or be creative with my mind.
So you were in jail.
I was in jail. Friends would come by, knock on the door. Hey, can Randy come out and hang out? Nope, he's grounded. And so I taught myself how to juggle, but I taught myself how to whistle. And it started out with the whole fingers in the mouth to position your tongue. And then it got to the point where like, I don't even need to put my fingers in my mouth. And so now I can just do it like just normal. Wow. And so that's what Abigail knows. So when she was in the neighborhood playing, I just whistled and she knew that meant come.
Nice.
Come running. So anyway, that was way off topic.
Totally.
Supper's hot.
Supper hot, supper's ready.
Bless your
Little
heart.
Randy.
Okay, I gotta acknowledge, I despise the time of supper.
Why?
Like 3:30 for like your
I
last
didn't
meal of
know
the
there
day.
was-
Huh?
Wait,
I didn't know that was like an actual.
What?
Yeah,
Time.
supper happens between like normal lunchtime and normal dinner time.
wait. Supper's not dinner?
Nope. It's different.
What? Wait a second.
Yep.
My mind is blown. Please explain.
I don't believe this.
So supper for most families would be defined as their dinner, but
Yeah.
supper happens earlier than dinner normally does.
So it's a separate thing? And who decided that it was a separate thing?
when
So in between lunch
You gotta go
and
check the
dinner,
facts
you
on
have
this one.
supper? Because growing up,
you don't.
supper was
No, you-
always dinner.
No. You don't eat lunch, supper, and dinner. You would eat you would maybe even skip lunch and just do supper.
Absolutely not.
I know.
That's
But-
absurd.
what did your family do? You come from Supperland, so like. So did you? I mean, did when she said, "Little Randy," did she say, "Little Randy, it's supper time," or did she say?
All right. Here's the Merriam-Webster definition. The evening meal when dinner is taken at midday.
That definition makes no sense. Who said that? Merriam-Webster?
There's actually three definitions. Sorry.
So is it
that was the
evening or
first
midday?
one. I got to open this link now. Hold on. So that was the first one. The second one is a light meal served late in the evening. And then the third one is an evening social, especially for raising funds. Think a church supper or social supper.
Wait, so I mean, I feel like those are three different times, at least two different times they're talking about.
Yeah, they said late afternoon for your meal in the evening, which that already makes no sense. and then a meal in the late evening,
To raise money.
and then something about church. Yeah.
Something about church.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels this way.
But when was your dinner time when you were a kid? Is what I'm
It's
asking.
defined or establishes as the principal meal of the day.
So, I mean, mine was generally like 5:30 because that's when, my dad would get home from work.
Right.
And so, I mean, I feel like it's pretty standard. I don't think we were weird. But the whole supper thing being,
Like 3 o'clock.
that's absurd.
Exactly.
That's absurd.
Thank you.
That's like old people
What
stuff.
psychopaths do that?
Old people.
I want to talk to them.
I
want them on the
I
pod.
can't acknowledge who
want an
those
old person?
people are, but I might be.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Enough said. Moving on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so
I'm confused. Can you tell
What-
me now that it?
I'm curious. I'm curious as to what dinner time is for you guys. Like, what is dinner time for you?
It varies.
Varies.
Anywhere between as soon as I get home to before I go to bed.
soonest would for sure be 5, but I would eat as late as like 9 if I needed to.
Dude, if I ate at 3:00 for my main meal, I would be so hungry.
Yeah.
By the time bedtime rolls around, I'd be scarfing stuff down right before I go to bed, and that just would not be good.
Well, I
Which
feel
I
like
do that anyway.
these might be farmer people. If you think about it, they eat dinner at 3 so they can go to bed at 8 when it gets dark.
True.
And then wake up at Kelly time when it's not even bright out
Every
yet.
time.
Kelly time. She gets up before
Dude,
the sun.
I really do not enjoy like waking up before the sun has risen. That's,
There are nights where Kelly will wake up before I go to sleep.
That's so funny. So funny. I used to be able to do
she's
that
like,
when I
"Good
was
morning."
younger.
You're like, "Good night."
No, she'll be like, well, because we'll both show up to work, and then she'll be like, oh, I didn't get to bed until, or I had to wake up at like 3 this morning, and I was like, "Pfft, okay,
Right. I was in the middle of my REM sleep right there.
yeah, I was finishing my last game of Rocket League, going to bed.
That's funny. I used to be able to do that when I was younger, man. I can't. I cannot recover if I have to stay up. That's why we had a student ask, like, you know what we should do? We should do a lock-in. I'm like, talk to Chris. Talk to Chris. He is all about that business.
I love me a lock-in. They're a little bit of work.
Oh,
but-
we used to do some crazy lock-ins.
Here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's first of all, there's the big shebang, which
That was only kind of a lock-in,
which
though.
used to be a whole
really?
the whole day. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So the last one we did, the one that wasn't the one we just did, was we traveled. Part of it was at Tomoka, part of it was at Crossroads, part of it was at Providence, and then a long time ago. This is a cool idea, and I wouldn't mind seeing this come back. So I'll just pitch it to you guys. We used to do something called Homeless Fair Night.
Oh, I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. Where everybody would bring their favorite cardboard box, sleep outside, and depending on the donations that they brought, they could earn things like blankets, food.
I'm curious. I'm raising my hand right
Yeah,
now
go
because
for
I'm
it.
curious that
Yes, Randy.
everyone brings their favorite cardboard box. I don't know about you, but I don't necessarily have a favorite cardboard box.
Oh, you
I'm
will.
gonna be completely honest. I do have a favorite cardboard box.
Where do you store this said
It's in my linen closet because I use it whenever I have to move stuff.
Well, but does
It's a
it have
Lowe's.
stuff-
It's a Lowe's nice cardboard box,
It's gotta
dude.
fit a Chris in it.
I
though.
don't know if I can fit myself in it. It'd be
Yeah.
close. I'd have to like kind of scrunch up, but I do have a favorite cardboard box. I'm gonna be honest.
That's hilarious.
So all the students would bring their like a box they could sleep in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, there's not many boxes I can sleep in.
You would need like
I think I would sleep
I
on
don't
the
even
box.
think I could do a refrigerator
Not
box.
in the
It would
box.
have to be like something longer.
So I'll tell you what ends up happening too. There's like there ends up being like little factions. It's kind of insane. So you'll see certain friend groups figure out a way to like finagle their boxes to make one big mega box,
Okay.
and then they have like a big mansion sleepover time,
Okay.
and then you have a whole other set of problems when that sort of thing starts happening. But
Then wars break out, people die. It's
so
ridiculous.
now we can there are certain what do they call them in Smash Bros? Levolutions that you can pick from. So there was one where they had some cop cars come by and kick everybody out, and they had to move their boxes. So those with mega boxes had to like deconstruct them.
Disassemble, okay.
And then maybe we're left without a box. So I brought it. So just another thing. I brought in enough donations for a blanket one time, and I received a dirty tarp.
Your blanket was a dirty tarp.
Yeah,
That's
which ended up being useful because I had a tarp instead of a blanket. I had a floor.
Okay.
So and then another one was we were in. This is probably the worst one. All the boxes were in the grass. This one also might have been accidental. All the sprinklers turned on.
Oh no.
Everybody had soggy boxes.
Oh, that would be miserable. Man.
Oh, it was such a good time though. And honestly,
out.
that's a pretty cool. Oh, one time it was pouring rain to the point where we couldn't do it. Like they had to bring people inside.
Oh, okay.
And by we, I mean I was a student and I was part of this thing. So we basically cleared out the sanctuary and had like a homeless shelter.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was actually probably some of the most fun I've ever had. We ended up playing football with a shirt, like as the ball.
Nice.
Nice.
And
Nice.
I mean, indoor football always slaps.
Yeah. It is. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
So sorry for my spiel, but
No, that was great.
that's my pitch for we should bring Homeless Fair Night back.
Dude, yeah, so lock-ins, having to stay awake all night long, being up when the sun is down, like I'm not a fan. And so much so, it's a good segue into the mission trip because we didn't have to stay up all night. However, we were up super early every morning before the sun was up.
How early?
Breakfast was at 6:15.
So we would
Yucky.
usually get up about 5:30ish.
Yep.
And so But yeah, so we had the opportunity for our spring break mission trip to take a group of students. There was 9 students, 5 leaders total, and we went to Acuna, Mexico, which is right across the border from Del Rio, Texas. And we didn't really know what to expect, but we were excited. And honestly, like I feel like for me, the trip was it was just an overall success. But some of the things that I saw out of the students was just really cool because it was a hard task to build a house in 3.5 days.
Yep.
With middle school and high school students. Middle school in particular trying to keep their attention, but they still pushed through and made it happen. And so, but yeah, so we're gonna highlight that for this episode. And so
Before we get into
the real stuff,
Chris, I'm upset with you
Why?
TJ's upset.
because you didn't get my joke.
When did you make a joke?
Chris posted in the story a picture of the Alamo, and I said, "The what?" And he said, "Do you know what the Alamo is?" I said, "I used to. I forgot."
Because the whole thing, is like, did you forget the Alamo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I feel like I
never
remember
forget.
that vaguely.
Oh, like never forget.
Never forget.
Never forget the Alamo.
Gotcha.
And I forgot the Alamo. And Chris is just teaching me. he said,
actually said
"Do you
the
know
wrong
what the
thing."
Alamo is?" I said, "Used to. I forgot." I said, "It's the place where the Mexican-American War defense took place." And I just put the, emoji.
Yeah, it was actually, I looked it up later. It's the Texan Revolution or something like that.
Yeah.
But the Mexican American War happened 5 or 10 years later. So.
But the story behind the Alamo, though, and the reason why we're talking about the Alamo is because on our free day, we flew into San Antonio, then drove down to Mexico. So we had to go back to San Antonio, and that was our free day. But the Alamo, it was a pretty devastating moment in history. Because didn't everyone die?
Yeah, every American died. Yeah, and there was a decent amount on the other side that died too. But yeah, every person was killed.
Bro, what's sad though, is we were just talking about this. You go to San Antonio, you go to the Riverwalk. It's really cool, a lot of cool shops, a lot of cool restaurants. You got the Riverwalk that goes through with the canal. You go take a boat, whatever. You got all this cool stuff, and then you walk up between these buildings, and then here's the Alamo. Because in my mind, when I was thinking of the Alamo, it was going to be some dry, arid place, out in the middle of nowhere. It was a big fort. That's it's not. It's literally in between all of the buildings, but they can't build a building that casts a shadow on the Alamo. It is
Yep,
That's
regulation.
What happens when the orbit changes ever so slightly and shadows end up there?
I don't know. I don't know if they take that into consideration.
There can be shadows there because the Alamo itself creates its own shadows.
Sure.
Because that's, who was it? It was either Evan or Will or Micah. One of the three of them was like, "Oh, but there's a shadow on it." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's because it's coming from the Alamo itself right now." But it's other buildings around it. Because if you look around where it's placed, there's nothing really close enough to it to where sun could hit something and create a shadow.
That's cool.
Because they have I don't remember what it's called, but it's the Sky Tower or something like that, which is really tall. It's like the Space Needle of San Antonio, but it's so far away from the Alamo that it can never put a shadow on it. So,
Yeah. So yeah.
but San Antonio was really cool. That was my first time being there. I enjoyed the river walk and all that area. And I really liked when we were on the boat tour. There was this one spot where it makes that building look like it's flat, like
Yeah.
a piece of paper.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
this
that was
optical
wild.
illusion. That was pretty cool.
That was wild. But yeah, that free day was cool. Going into Mexico, I know leading up to it, it was funny because you would tell people hey, we're taking a team of students to Mexico. Be like, oh goodness, make sure you're careful. It's a dangerous place. It's I think everybody's perception from
Breaking Bad.
well, the news, things that they've seen on TV, whatever like that. It's you've got these hundreds of thousands of Mexicans trying to cross the border with pitchforks and guns, and it was absolutely none of that. It was actually pretty mild going across the border.
Yeah.
And so but yeah, once we got there, I'll have to say this, like, I'll be okay if like I don't have to deal with dust for a really long time.
Yeah, it makes you appreciate the humidity a little bit here, a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say I enjoy the fact that we didn't have humidity there or as much as we do here. So like it wasn't as brutal when you're like in the hot sun, but it provided a lot of like just dust and just dry air. So like your nose, your sinuses are all jacked.
Yeah, I was wearing glasses pretty much the whole time, and I still had dust coming up under my glasses to get into my eyes. It was gnarly.
So every year, obviously, there's a mission trip that is taken during spring break. This was the first year in a while. I know they've done it in the past, but this was the first year in a while that we were able to take a student trip outside of the U.S. And so with that being, like, Chris, you were on there, TJ, you were not. So I feel like questions from you would be good. But my first question would be, being on the trip, what was your expectation going in? And how did that expectation either get met or disappointed?
So that mission trip was my first time leaving the country, so I had to get a passport and everything for it. Expectation wise, my primary expectation was like a different shift of perspective or change of perspective in terms of like the way people live or that kind of thing. And that I would say was pretty much mostly met. It was really interesting. I don't know what the rest of Mexico, but the state that we were in, it was really interesting with how like you would have these houses that were practically falling apart right next to houses that would be perceived in that state or country as really nice. Like they were right next to each other. It'd be like, I don't know, like someone that makes $1 million was living next to a homeless person, right? It was really interesting to see that in terms of the overall scope of where we were at. I can't say I was necessarily prepared for how much work we had to do. Like I knew we had to do a lot of work, but like mentally and physically, I don't think I could have been prepared for that. So, but yeah, I would just say that was my expectations.
Okay. That's fair. That is fair. TJ, what was your expectations?
Well, my expectation was to not go, and I think it went pretty well.
It's good. It's good. So one of the things, like, the church that we go to, if you're listening and you don't go to Tomoka, like one of the things about Tomoka Christian Church is like their heart for missions. And so it goes without saying, like, missions are going to be a huge part of what we do as a student ministry. And so knowing that, like, being able to do what we did, not only providing an opportunity for students to see a different culture, but also to come together as a team and accomplish a task that really seemed pretty insurmountable. Like to build a house, although it was not a big house, but it was something that did not exist, literally rocks and dirt. And then we saw the whole construction process from foundation to finished product, handing keys to the family in 3.5 days, which was incredible. And so the ministry we partnered with, Casas por Cristo, they do this on a regular basis. And they have it down to a science, but it still requires a lot of labor. And so for me, like, I've been on mission trips in the past, but I've never done something to this extent. And so for me going into it, like, I knew it was going to be hard work. I knew it was going to be a lot of stuff going on. But my expectation really was just that people would have, one, a better sense of what different cultures look like, but two, be able to stand back at the end of the day and go like, wow, like, look what we were able to accomplish as a team, because there's so much that you can learn in a situation like that, of like the power of community, right? And the power of pushing past like your pain, physical pain, emotional stress, whatever like that, pushing past that, because the focus is this person doesn't have a house and we're the ones building the house for them. And so for me, like, my expectation was like, I hope they get that message, or I hope they sense that. And I feel like after the fact, looking back on it, I think it was even so much more that they were able to experience. And so, but yeah.
Yeah, I also, I don't think you would realize how much goes into building a house until you've experienced building a house.
That's the truth.
Like, I mean, our build is pretty standard for what the mission does. I mean, it's not huge, no more than 20 by 20, not even that. But like how you have to make sure the lot is level, and like how to, like, even just starting there, and then like putting the foundation in, and then putting up the walls and making sure all the measurements are right, and how you have to put different posts in their different spots so that it's actually like structurally sound. Yes, question.
So, is there a guy from Casas por Cristo there helping you with this, or is there?
Oh, dude, if we didn't have him, we would have been cooked.
I was assuming
we'd
they
still
left
be there
you
building
with,
the
like,
house.
I was assuming they left you with like IKEA style instructions.
That would have been hilarious, dude.
Because you keep talking about like, oh yeah, none of us knew how to build a house, and it's like. Did you wing it? How good is this house?
If
Like,
that would have been the case, we would have literally handed over those instructions and been like, okay, we got part of it.
Yeah.
So here you go.
I think there's some wood here somewhere. It would look like a teepee. That's what it would have turned out to.
Lean to. But yeah, no, that's a good question though. But yes, we did have a missionary. His name was Gus.
Oh no.
Oddly enough, big fan of Psych, by the way.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So,
Well, I thought you were about to say Breaking Bad.
I've never seen Breaking
Oh, well, the
Gustavo.
bad guy is Gus.
His name's actually Gustavo too.
Yeah.
So
That's Gus's name? Is
Yeah.
Gustavo?
yes.
That.
Does he own a
that
chicken
brings a whole
restaurant?
different layer to the situation.
Does he own a chicken restaurant?
I don't think so. Unfortunately.
So, so he was with us the whole week, and he was kind of like the one that this is what we do. This is what we do. Get a team to do this. Get a team to do that, and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, if we wouldn't have had Gus, man, like we wouldn't have delivered a house.
Was he nice?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was
cool.
fun.
Gus was a cool dude.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I wonder if we were to call Gus.
He's like the same age as me.
Really?
And yeah, he's built like 30 something houses, I think, is what was said. So
I feel like Chris and I talked about this prior. Like, it's like, what would it look like if we actually called Gus and he answered?
let's see if it happens.
Gus.
Gus. You know, he got the nickname Sus Gus
That is the most American thing I've ever heard.
from a previous group. Yeah.
Oh no.
Come on, Gus. Come on. I think he said there was.
Randy, what's up?
Let's
Gus, what is up, buddy? Hey,
What can I do for you, man?
are you busy right now? I'm sure you are.
I think I got like 5 minutes. I'm about to start a dedication.
Okay, you're about to start a dedication. So you're on the pod right now. And so I'm sitting here with Chris and TJ, which is our other co-host. And so we were talking about the mission
Right,
trip. And so,
Okay.
so Gus is the guy who helped us complete this build. So Gus, what are you doing right now?
I am literally standing in Mexico in front of another completed house that I built this week, and we were about to dedicate for this family. This family does go to church, but they're not Christian, so we have an opportunity right now in about 5 minutes here that the family can hear the Word of God and receive a Bible and receive a brand new home.
Dude, that is amazing. Gus, how many houses is this for you this year?
I'm pretty sure this is the 38th house or 37, almost 40.
For you that you've been a part of building, or the Casas por Cristo ministry?
No, that I've personally been a part of building. Costas' entire number is like 7,200, 7,300, somewhere in there. We crossed 7,000 last year, so we're still building more every year.
Dude, that is incredible. I'm going to put you on the spot. So for our team, what was a highlight for your week with us?
I think the highlight was just seeing everybody learn, a fairly fresh team, but the fact that y'all were able to take my instructions and still build a pretty solid house. That was probably the most enjoyable part. The highlight was being able to teach y'all. Y'all were teachable, and it was still cool that we still finished the house. You know, sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but we still built the house for a family, and that's what's most important.
Dude, that's incredible. That is incredible. Anything that you would add for Chris? Just what would be a good advice or for Chris?
Ooh, I'm not sure. You know, as long as people come on these builds with an open mind and ready to work, I mean, I'll take anybody. You know, for Chris, maybe get some sleep and be ready for the next build. Work those hands, practice with a hammer. That would be my advice.
Practice with a hammer. We had a lot of struggle with hammers.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was rough.
So
I was going to ask about that.
Well, Gus, man, thanks for taking our call, man. We were not sure if you would even pick up, but we tried it and you did. And
He picked
so
up really fast.
he did.
Yeah.
Gus is a good dude.
Of course.
He was waiting for you.
Hey, I love building with y'all, and I look forward to the next time, too.
All right,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Have a great dedication. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Randy.
All
Bye-bye.
right, bye.
Bye, Gus.
Gus picked up.
Dude, that's cool.
So yeah, so that he really helped us with everything. So now what he said, 33 or 37 houses that he's been a
38.
part of building.
38, yeah.
So dude, that's incredible. So the ministry that Casa Por Cristo has is just incredible. I mean, over 7,000 homes being built. And so we were thankful to just be a part of that and experience that. And I do believe that somewhere in the future we will do another home.
Yeah, definitely down the line. I really love the mission, just because, like, I think there's so much. I was telling Gus this actually on our last day, but there's so much, like, you can't not serve on this mission trip.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was the coolest thing, just because there's so much practical stuff that gets done, and then obviously you're handing over a house to somebody that doesn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the impact on that, you're making an impact on someone's lives tremendously.
I love a good tangible mission.
Yes,
Where
exactly.
it's not like I'm sure there's a whole group of people that love like evangelistic mission trips, but like regardless of like Christianity aspect of it, you did something good for someone. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you built a house for somebody. That's why I like Filter of Hope a lot too. It's like those water filter wells.
Yeah.
And I mean clean water from basically mud.
Yeah.
And it's like $40 for one.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I think it's one of the things. You do have your evangelistic style mission trips, and then you do have more of your practical, hands-on mission trips. And I've been on both. And I feel like for me, even though it is harder work, like an actual mission trip where you get to see the process and the completion of that process is just, it's cool. It really is cool. Which would lead me to a question of like, for you, Chris, was there a point where you were like, we're not going to get this done?
I don't think there was a point that I thought it was not going to get done. Like the first day was a lot. What I was like, my primary concern was like, he made the comment on the phone was like, yeah, you made a pretty solid house. I'm like, yeah, it's standing, I think. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, dude, like hammering in the nails, on the bottom of the frame that had to go through a 2x4 into the concrete
Oh gosh.
was dude, that was annoying as crap.
We'll have to share some pictures.
There was, we can picture here. There was a picture of, like, it might have been me, honestly. It was either me, Micah, I don't know
Renee,
who,
I think
Renee, maybe.
Renee.
Yeah. There was like maybe 15 nails in this one section that were trying to get hammered in, and all of them were just bending. And so you had to just hammer them in and just let it be. You just had to put one in, and it was so frustrating. So that was more what I was worried about, was like, we were going to build it and then something was going to like fail on us.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
But I honestly, I was pretty hopeful, and, you know, I was able to persevere through the times that it was like, it was a lot or it was hard. Cause I knew, like, we had time and we were going to be able to get it done, but it was crazy. Really after the second day, like how it all came together.
Yeah.
Because like the first day, we finished. Only thing that was really finalized was the concrete that we had laid. Like we had built the walls, but hadn't gone up yet. But by the second day, like we had the walls were done. We had a roof. So like by the end of the second day, it was like, oh, this is going to be a house.
Yeah.
So that was probably, I was able to be like, yeah, we're going to get this done. But first day it was like, there is work to be done. That's for sure. Cause there's lots of stuff that goes into a house.
You made a disc golf tee pad in the beginning.
Essentially it was about 2 of them, but yeah, essentially.
Yeah. I think so. With missions, with student missions in general, like this trip in particular, one of the things that students were able to see right before their very eyes was opposition and pressing through that opposition for a goal. And I know like a lot of times when we're home, we're not faced with that particular timeline, right? We're not, most of the time, most of our lives, we're not in this huge time crunch that is so serious, like between a person having a home or not having a home, right? And so to see the team and the students come together, whether it was the encouragement from us as leaders or it was from their peers, to see them press through that pain, again, emotional, or they were just completely bored out of their mind, or whether it was physical pain. Like I know some people were just having physical pain. I was one of them.
Dude, I gotta mention, so like he was talking about being better with a hammer. And so like from that, and I had to do the nail gun both the first day and the second day a ton. So like my hands were like so swollen, like they were so hard to like squeeze. So I had come back on, we came back, and then on Monday I like went to go like check rings.
Oh no.
And I like they were fine, I think by that point. But I told Izzy, I was like, I hope my fingers aren't swollen, so like I don't get the wrong ring size.
Right. You get your ring and it falls off of you because they were swollen.
Yeah. So, but I think they were fine by that point. But dude, yeah, I was like,
After all the batting,
it's different because it's impact. It's like, like batting.
yeah, but like if you get like jammed up,
Yeah, but that's just like it stings your hands more than anything. That doesn't really like make your hands swollen. There's just so much impact that you have to absorb through your hands. So
I don't think there's any worse feeling in the world than like hitting a baseball that's like close to you and it doesn't hit like the barrel of the bat,
It rings and vibrates your whole.
Yeah.
dude, and that in the cold makes your hands are already numb, but it's the worst, dude. It's the worst in the cold.
Yeah. So that was interesting about the temperature in Mexico. Like it was 2 extremes. So like when the sun was down, on its way up, like it was chilly. All right. And so you had to dress in layers.
Yep.
Problem is those layers are absolutely dusty.
Yep.
Right. So it's like if you got to put a sweatshirt back on, it's full of dust, or if you got to take it off, then put it back on, it's going to have dust everywhere because it's been setting in the ground and there was dust everywhere. But the physical labor part, like there were times where it's just like, I'm too old for this. And I wasn't even the oldest one on the trip. And so, but just seeing everybody, I think that highlights in real time perspective what it's like to be in community, because we all had one mission. And as a student ministry, we have the same thing. So in our student ministry, and kind of like the overview of what we do, it's connect students to Jesus and others, to see them grow in their relationships with Jesus and others, and then to see them serve outside of themselves or serve the world around them. And so we literally saw that portion of the service side of it, but also that growth within the community. Being able to actually connect with others that maybe they hadn't connected before on the trip.
Yeah.
To grow in those relationships, because I know my daughter Abigail, there was people that she talked to that she had never talked to before.
Yeah.
Was able to have those conversations, and she loved those conversations. It truly impacted her. And so like missions isn't just something to do because, it sounds great and I want to give back. It's more so, it's it's you subjecting yourself to discomfort so that others can either hear the gospel or to receive a home or both. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that, for me, that was the coolest part about this particular trip, and why, I believe this church and our student ministry believes in missions so much. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the physical side of it, my back, between sleeping on an air mattress that was not really an air mattress, and then bending over, like hammering in nails or picking up rocks or cutting wood, whatever it was, like, it was brutal.
My back, like the first day, after the first day was like kind of sore. It didn't get as bad as I thought it did. I think my back honestly got a lot stronger from a lot of the pickaxing that I had to do.
Pickaxe?
Yeah, because you had to like break up
Brother was a prospector.
For real, dude.
Go!
We were digging. That's really why we're in Mexico. No. But yeah, because you had to pickaxe the dirt to make sure it's broken up so that you could put in the 2x4s for the cement frame. So,
okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like doing tire slams with a giant sledgehammer.
Yeah, except if you somehow miss, you're going to put a hole in your shin.
I would have to miss really bad.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't have a pickaxe in my hand. If
I'm afraid to like swing an axe sometimes because I feel like I'm going to just chop my leg off. Question about your air mattress that wasn't an air mattress. Can you clarify that?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't have an air mattress.
Yeah, Chris was hardcore, man.
Dude, I had ordered an air mattress off of Amazon because I didn't own one, and it was supposed to arrive Saturday, and then like either Friday or Saturday, it's like delivery expected Monday. Well, we left Monday at 4:30 in the morning, so I was not getting that. So I have this like foam camping pad that might be the length of me that I was sleeping on. Nice. So yeah. So
it's a self-inflating like pad, like a camping pad, and so I mean it was probably that thick, but it.
I'd rather sleep on what Chris is sleeping on at that point.
Yeah.
Especially me on the air is like...
My thing
I might as well just be on the ground.
Was thinner than his, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing.
Yeah. So I did have a little cushion, but like every time I moved, it was like... So like it would either wake me up or wake Chris up or whatever. And it's just like... But granted, I was glad to have it. But when I think of an air mattress, I think of like, twin size air mattress, probably about 6-8 inches thick.
Right.
This was not that.
The funny thing was a whole bunch of our students had the twin size ones. I had ordered a queen. So it was taking up like our whole room if that thing had come with me. It was going to be so funny.
That is hilarious.
Because I was longer than all the twins.
Right.
Like I was taller than most of the twin size or like twin XLs even. And so I was like, I kind of need at least a full or a queen.
You would have set up like some sort of like royal hierarchy system in your room. You're like, I'm the king, so I have the big bed. But yeah, that sounds wild. If I'm that kind of tired though, like building a house tired, I could probably just sleep on the floor.
Oh, I could have if I needed to, honestly.
If I'd have had to, for sure.
Yeah.
And I do. I feel like that the first day of travel, like obviously we weren't doing physical labor, but like we were just all taxed. So by the time we got to the church that we stayed at and everything like that, like we were all just ready for bed anyway.
Yeah.
But that first day of work, we got up at like 5:30 and we worked till like 6 or something like that. Crazy.
Yeah, we worked a lot later than we expected.
It didn't matter. I could have slept on the floor, no problem. I could have slept on a bed of nails, I feel like, and I would have been fine. But like I was crashing.
Dude, sorry, off topic, but I had a teacher in high school that during an assembly, we legit brought out like a bed of nails and he laid on it. Because like if you lay like evenly distributed on it, you can actually lay on a bed of nails. Yeah. It was crazy.
You can also lay on a bed of roses.
This sounds like an old song.
It is an old song.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, that's legit.
You could also lay on a Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Do those roses have thorns?
Do those guns have bullets?
Yes. because every gun has bullets, and
But every
rose
bullet-
has a thorn.
But every bullet
That
doesn't.
sounds like a
I
metaphor.
stretched real hard for that one. Yeah, so I mean, overall successful mission trip. We would encourage anybody that is considering it to do it. Just do it. Like go on a mission trip. We're going to work hard as a student ministry to provide other opportunities, not just out of the country practical things, but also like evangelistic type style mission trips and things like that. I feel like as we progress and grow, those opportunities will definitely be a part of what we do. And so, your first time out of the country, Chris, like,
Yep.
was it everything that you had hoped it had been?
Yeah, I think the funniest, not funniest, but the like first obvious thing as soon as we got through customs is none of the signs are in English,
True.
which is obvious. Like you would think that, but then you don't really like realize it until you're there, and you're like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. If I would have been driving, which I didn't have to, thank goodness.
I would have loved.
I would have been very thankful that the signs were still the same color.
You know, the one that was like, it took us a minute to figure out was the, so it was a white sign with a black E with a red cross out on it, which meant.
Wait,
You got this.
I believe.
TJ's thinking. You can figure this out, man.
I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
I have two guesses.
Okay.
One is an Americanized guess. You're not allowed to run out of gas here. There's places where it's like it's
I like that
illegal.
one.
It's
I like
illegal
that
to run
one.
out of gas.
It's
Can you do
incorrect,
that?
but I like that
That's a
one.
thing in America?
Yeah, there's places where it's like, yeah, don't run out of gas here. Get gas, or
And you can get a ticket for
I
it?
believe so. Yeah.
What?
Well, it's because it's unsafe to have your car wherever it's going to be.
I
Interesting.
guess. Okay.
All right. Secondly, my other guess is probably no passing.
It was not either of those,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I concede.
It was no parking.
Yeah.
No
So
parking
here's
here.
a question.
Yeah.
Now. Here's a question.
So the word for parking just starts with the E, probably.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. What is the Spanish word for parking? Doesn't start with an E. It's aparcamiento. I'd jack that way up. But I guess there is, there is one. It says esta coñamenito. I'm terrible at this.
Let me have a look.
It's another common translation. The second one.
Yeah. Oh boy, estacionamiento. That's a stupid word for parking.
No offense, anybody.
I'm just saying. That's so many syllables.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, that was probably one of the most drastic
Dude, what
differences.
was cracking me up was so we talked about dust, right? Talked a lot about dust. But you would drive down the street, and a lot of the streets, they weren't paved. And you would see people having their laundry like strung out to dry. You're going down these dusty roads, kicking up dust, and their clothes are out there just they're wet, damp clothes soaking up all this dust. And I'm thinking like, this is counterproductive. I cannot live like this. Mm-hmm. And so, but that was wild. And then I thought that I was going to get mauled by a police dog, which was kind of weird.
When was that?
So-
was that when you and Gus had to go and
So coming through customs, they pulled the truck. So Gus was driving a truck. The van was behind us, and we had the trailer full of everybody's like luggage. And so when we pulled up, they were like, waving us to go to a different section, and they ended up having him park so they could open up the trailer and look into it. Well, while Gus gets out of the truck, leaves his door open, and then walks back and talks with the officers, and they're looking in the trailer. Well, while they're looking in the trailer, there is this police dog that's literally right outside Gus's door in a cage. The police dog's going nuts. And so like I'm thinking like, is he going nuts at me, or does he smell something that I don't know about?
You smell like cocaine all the time.
It's like, this is going to be terrible, right? And so like, I'm just thinking like, cool, but he's in a crate, no problem. So as he's, losing his mind right outside the door, one of the officers pop up, and I'm thinking like, okay, cool, he's going to shut him up, right? Well, he goes over and he starts to lean down. He's kind of like messing with the crate. I'm thinking he's getting ready to release this dog. I'm thinking like, what is going on right now? Like, I'm gonna die. Like, this dog is gonna jump through the driver's side, and he's gonna maul me because I've got chocolate in my pocket. Or I didn't, but I didn't know what. At this time, it's like when a police officer's behind you, you start freaking out. Like, okay, am I doing the speed limit? Is there anything that I'm doing wrong?
Are my tabs updated?
Yeah, yep. Right. And so I was thinking all of this thing in my head. And so sure enough, he doesn't let the dog out, right? This is anticlimactic, but he doesn't let the dog out, and he just kicks the cage and he shuts up. But the whole time I'm thinking like, I'm getting ready to get mauled by this Mexican police dog.
Dang.
I was very thankful that he did. We did not have anything that was unnecessary either. They charged Gus like $130 for something stupid. He's like, this never happens. I'm like, sorry, Gus.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, like, depending on the people who are working that time, they will like try to like, get money out of you just for the fun of it, because either they don't want to be there, or that you're a crazy American and they want to take advantage of you. That is not everybody, just some corrupt people. Anyway. So yeah.
I will say the other thing that was a lot. I mean, I was talking about not being able to see seeing all the signs and them all being in a different language. But like on one of the days after we were done working, we went to like their downtown area, and we're walking around the stores, and like there's a language barrier, obviously. And so like I know some Spanish, but like the thing I realized the most is like being uncomfortable speaking in Spanish. Like I'll speak it to people that speak English before I speak it to people that speak Spanish, because I'm like afraid that I'm going to say something wrong, or not know what else to say, or not be able to understand them. That's the thing I struggle with the most, is understanding other people that speak it so fast. But like I was going to ask someone like what their favorite thing was in the store. I'm like, this is going to go terrible. So I just, and she's like, because you can pay with American cash at one of the places near the border. And so she's like, it came up in pesos. I'm like, I have no idea how much this is in English.
Yeah, you got ripped off.
Probably. It was $3. I don't think I got ripped off, but yeah, that was a challenge.
Yeah, for sure. There's always that language barrier. But I was going to say something and I've already forgot. It probably wasn't that important. How are we doing on time?
We're almost at like a 2-parter. We're pushing an hour.
Oh man. Well, let's shut her down.
I was enjoying our talk. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember what I was going to say. So how many times, we're being vulnerable here, right? How many times did you toss toilet paper in the toilet and have to fish it out to put it in the
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Okay. So let's back up. Let's back up. So in most third world countries, at least the ones that I've been to, you cannot flush the toilet paper. Their plumbing isn't strong enough to support that much. It'll clog it up, whatever.
Yep.
So you have to throw your toilet paper in a small little trash can that's generally right beside the toilet.
I could not go on a mission trip.
And so, yeah, trying to be a good steward, right? You don't want to flush toilet paper. And so there would be times where I completely would forget, and I go, oh, crap. No pun intended. And I'm like, I'm not going to flush this. And so you fish it out.
I know for sure the first time I did, like I forgot and I had to fish it out. Maybe another time, like later in the trip. But that was like I caught myself before I did it a couple times, but it was at least once or twice though.
Just being real, I'd hold it.
Bro, you'd have been holding it for
I
a
know.
long time, bro.
Bro, I don't know.
All
you'd,
week.
you'd find me in the hospital before you find me doing that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's not pleasant. And then obviously you can't drink the water either. So like brushing your teeth,
Yeah.
The toilet.
all those especially the toilet. You can't, when you're brushing your teeth, you need to use like bottled water. Or when you're taking a shower, you try not to let the shower water get in your mouth, because otherwise you will be
Montezuma.
using the bathroom
Exactly.
and you don't want to.
100%.
And so that wasn't a struggle for me. I don't know who did it, but somebody put Post-it notes on the mirror in our
I did see
bathroom.
that. That was
It was
valuable.
like, don't drink the water, don't flush the toilet paper, which was a really, really good reminder for the most part. I feel like we had somebody on the trip, we won't name names nor gender groups, but clogged the toilet one morning, and thankfully it was not the gender group that we were responsible for. Chris and I were responsible for.
Wow, I wonder which one.
But
we only
I thought that was
believe in
funny.
two genders here as well. So
Yes, there's only two, female, male. But anyway, but yeah, that was fun. So those are fun things too. Like they're not fun in the moment, but like it's fun to have the story afterwards. I fished out toilet paper a couple times,
yeah,
and like pushing them down into the trash can was disgusting.
dude. That was the. It was so gross. Like, because sometimes like people would just throw it in there and would keep the lid open.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah. So like we needed like a stick to like push it down,
Yeah.
like compress it a little bit. TJ is
TJ's
losing
dying.
his mind right now.
I just couldn't do it. And the worst part is it's not. Oh boy, how much do I want to say? It's not because of other people. It'd be because of me. I don't want people to see my stuff.
Yeah, it's a very vulnerable moment.
No, I don't want to be vulnerable. I want to be my sheltered American self.
Yeah, so on the job site, I'm thankful to be a guy, and there, when you only have to go number one, there's plenty of bushes that you could conceal yourself. And so
I did hold it the entire time we were at the job site though.
bro,
Yeah, I was not going to
I
use.
ain't trying to get that
outdoor.
prostate stuff going on, man. I get
that?
rid of that. I couldn't handle it.
I didn't have to go that bad when I was at the job site. I was too focused on working. So
Probably wasn't drinking water. Probably wasn't staying hydrated, so you didn't have to.
no, I had the liquid IVs, bro.
Okay, all
Made
right.
sure I was on it.
Sponsor,
Not really.
not a sponsor.
Could be though.
Could be that. Send us free stuff.
I like
How
liquid
would
IVs.
you like to advertise your drink to 33 people?
We got the market. And I would say maybe half of those people don't have the money to buy liquid IV for themselves because they're students. So it'd be like their parents buying it. Mom, can I get some liquid IV? So yeah, I think again, overall, it was a great trip.
We just brought 3 cases of Prime.
Oh, dude, I will say this. There was a moment where we got back to San Antonio to our Airbnb, and on our way back, it was late, which we had the best food for lunch that day.
Please tell me about it.
Authentic Mexican. It had like meat. It had like peppers and potatoes, and the seasoning was absolutely amazing. And it was on handmade corn tortillas. Like, dude, it was absolutely delicious.
I'm hungry already.
But anyway, so we got back late because we had to go through the border, which took like an hour and a half, and so getting up to San Antonio was late. But on our way there, we stopped at a gas station, and they had these gummy,
Oh, yeah, that's
sour
funny.
dill pickle
balls.
balls.
I'm so done.
I'm sorry, that's what they were.
Chris actually has video. That
I do have video.
I don't know. Maybe we could splice that in just so you know what I'm talking about. So we had probably about 10,
Stop doing that. I want to make it full screen.
8, maybe 8 or 10 of us. That was like, okay, so it started with me. So I saw them, and Heidi and Gracie was on the other side of this aisle, and I said, "Oh my gosh, those are gross." And they're like, "What?" And so I showed them. And Heidi, she was all about it. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I love that." I was like, "These look disgusting." I said, "But I will buy these if you will try them." And she's like, "Oh, I'll totally do that." And Gracie's like, "Yeah, I'll totally do that," because Gracie's down for whatever. And so like what ended up happening is I bought like 3 or 4 different packets so that more people could try if they wanted to. And so when we got to the Airbnb, there was probably about 8 or 10 of them that decided they were going to try it. The most disgusting thing ever. I literally about vomited. Like if I was on Fear Factor, this would be the point where I would walk away, no money, because I literally was heaving because it was absolutely disgusting.
And they eat like cow brains and stuff on Fear Factor, so the fact that a pickle gummy took you out is kind of crazy.
Dude, it was disgusting. And like there was this moment because like there was several people. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't take this. So they're trying to find like a trash can, a sink to spit it in, right? Well, people are rushing the kitchen to spit their gummy out into the trash can. Well, I didn't see it, but after the fact, one of our female students was spitting into the trash can, and one of our male students came to spit in the same trash can and spit on her mouth.
Huh?
How did
that happen?
So leaning down over the trash can, right, was the student, right? And the other student comes right beside of him to spit their stuff out, and like spit, it hits the side of their mouth.
Oh my God. You had the most disgusting mission trip.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. But that is actually disgusting. And
this is all just happening in some store.
yeah. No, it wasn't
this
in the
was at
store.
the house.
This was at
Oh,
the Airbnb.
yeah.
That would be even funnier.
It would.
Yeah.
I agree.
Gnarly.
It's just like some like old lady like reading a newspaper. Just
Yeah. Yep. So, but that was fun too. All right. That's all
We've said a lot.
We've said a lot.
we're at an hour 6.
Hour 6. Yuck. We could cut that down. There's a lot of fluff could be cut.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of our best.
Okay. Whatever, man.
We've been
I feel
cruising.
like this is very content filled.
Okay.
It wasn't just fooling around.
All right. No tomfoolery here.
I would
Ain't
rather
no Bob Rawson.
I would rather cut this into 2 episodes than cut it down.
Okay.
If you guys are
Okay.
What's the next big episode? What's the next Bob Ross type episode we're gonna do?
we mentioned Wii Sports,
Yeah, we gotta do some. Yeah, we gotta do some video games.
but maybe
But see, I'm scared to get into the whole video game thing because TJ's like this pro gamer, and so it's just gonna like, oh, look at
pro
me.
gamer.
This is no match for me.
Okay, so one thing to know about me is I play games that are stupid. So unless you're playing me in Rocket League, you'll be fine.
Which is not a stupid game.
well,
It's a
yeah,
fun game.
that's like one game that.
Rocket League is
But
hard.
I'm still playing GTA 11 years after it came out. I play like. What was the latest dumb one that I did? It was like trading card game store simulator. playing it. Basically, you have a card shop and you sell cards and make money and upgrade your store. A lot of my games are just jobs.
All right, so we're playing
Okay.
Wii Sports, I think.
Wii Sports or what? Smash Bros.
You're
Something
bring
like
Smash
that.
Bros. Yeah, I'm down with either of those.
Chris could probably beat me in Smash if I had to guess.
Well, all he'll do is grab Kirby and just.
Oh,
start
never. Yeah, that's right.
dropping on people.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah.
Because here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna play Kirby, and I'm gonna play Little Mac, who has a counter, and then you're Dunzo.
Ooh, it is a
Bro,
challenge.
Lil Mac takes forever though to
what?
build up his like KO thing.
Doesn't matter. I don't need it. What I need is the counter, which I have already.
I'll play with Yoshi then,
Why?
because then I'll make you an egg and have you fall off the platform.
Oh, I'm Little Mac. I'm already gonna fall off the platform. Little Mac is like one of the few characters. I don't know if you do you play. Mm-hmm. Oh, so he falls off really easy.
No, I didn't know that.
He like he has got like a jump and then maybe another jump and then his up B goes nowhere and then you just fall to your death.
Little Mac. Who's Little Mac?
Punch out.
Punch out. Oh, got you. You can play with him?
Yeah.
Interesting. I guess I have like 3 characters that I use, and that's it.
Who?
Sonic,
Sonic,
Bayonetta, and Dark Pit are like my 3.
Yeah, Dark Pit's good.
I like Lil Mac, Ike, and that's really about it.
I like Kirby, Yoshi, and Meta Knight.
Meta Knight.
So Kirby with a mask
Essentially,
and malformed Kirby.
I know my strengths. All right, it's called down B.
All right. So yeah, we can do a video game episode. I mean, if anybody comments on these, we would be down for you to comment like what you think we should do for a podcast.
Yeah,
so we want to do what you guys want to listen to, and so, yeah. Anyway,
if you could find some sort of like biblical tie-in to Super Smash Bros.
Oh, we can totally do that. Bro, come on.
It's called 30-second
We got
sermons.
this.
We got to do that.
All right,
We got this. All right.
wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up. So thanks for joining us today, tomorrow, whatever. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Y'all have any
Well, they would
closing?
be joining us on today whenever they're watching.
Forget what I said. TJ, cut that out. Chris, close us out, sir.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Wait, do it again. You were just rubbing your microphone on the. Yeah, that's spiking the thing over here.
Chris, we need to go through a proper
I
microphone.
have problems with microphones apparently.
You do.
But thank you for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.